And we're starting with our first topic of the week, which happens to be going on right now, actually, as we speak, which I kind of have going on over here on the left side. Dylan's got it going on as well, so we can pay attention. Third quarter just started. But it is a tie game going into the half. We're talking about the Suns Bucks game 4 of the finals. So Bucks looking to even the series at 2-2. Suns looking to basically kind of keep the Bucks at bay and kind of halts that comeback that seems to be brewing there in Milwaukee. Whether it'll continue, I don't know. I really don't have faith in the Bucks being able to pull through. I just don't know. I just don't, with the way that it's been the first two games, especially with the Suns at home, they were on fire. They were hitting everything. And then game 3, you go home, of course, to the Bucks, and the Bucks, you get Middleton and Drew Holiday finally finding his stroke, which of course, getting Drew Holiday going, who's supposed to be one of the quote unquote big 3 there for the Bucks, is huge. And then obviously getting Middleton to contribute, and then Giannis just having 2 massive nights back to back. I mean, the dude had 240 plus games with, I forget how many rebounds and assists, but it was a close to triple double level. And a 40-point triple double in the finals is pretty insane, especially coming off of a freak leg injury. For anybody that does not know or hasn't seen that, that was a crazy clip. I straight up thought he tore everything in his knee, and somehow here he is averaging 35 plus points in the finals. So pretty insane. It's game 2 was a little disappointing, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Game 2 first is where we'll go. That happened since the last podcast. So that one, Chris Middleton couldn't shoot to save his life. Neither could, and then Giannis scoring 40 plus points just wasn't enough because the Suns were just on fire. I mean, the Suns shot 20 of 40, so literally 50% from 3, which is insane for a team together. And then, of course, you had Booker putting up 31 points and just cooking the whole night. So game 2 went to the Suns at home. It makes sense. These are 2 teams that play incredibly well at their home, which is, we've seen that before in, previous finals and previous teams and everything. So it's not surprising. But in this case, I do feel the Suns are the better team. So I feel like they'll outlast the Bucks, if I could say that, if that makes sense. Now, I will say if game 4 going on right now, that if the Bucks somehow don't figure out how to pull this one out, they're really going to be staring down a tough task to be able to win the next one at Phoenix and then come home and win that to push a game 7. We'll see. But right now, the Suns are making a surge in the third quarter, which is always, of course, third quarter. If you're, a basketball fan, you understand that that's where, it ends up. The turn of events happens, and that's usually where the team that either is going to win or make a comeback makes their surge, is the third quarter. So that's happening right now. Game 3, though, was a different story. The Suns could not shoot at all, and you had Devin Booker. I think I have a stat right here. He shot 3 of 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. That's not going to win you games. Surprise, surprise, especially in the finals. So yeah. So just not a great showing for him. Chris Paul only had 19, so really not like lighting it up or, kind of compensating for Devin Booker. But Giannis, again, incredible. And we'll see if he can put another show on tonight, as we go through this game 4. So that's my thoughts, kind of running through both the games, bringing everybody up to speed, how I feel like the finals are going to go. What do you think about everything that I just said, as well as everything that's happened?
The biggest thing for me is stuck out is definitely Giannis's performance post-injury, because again, everyone thought he was probably going to be out, if not the entire finals, just maybe even a tear or anything else. Regardless, I'm just most impressed by him basically resorting to carrying where he's need to, despite that injury. And like that stuff and those stats and stuff get put up all the time, and they get highlights and everything else, but the context is still lost, even though again that was like a week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And everyone has a bit of a goldfish memory, but people are just like, oh yeah, this is totally normal. Like he's putting up 35 and then like 40 points. And yeah, he just is still recovering off of that, which I'm assuming there's got to be some sort of lingering effects from. So that part has been the most important to me to see that. I'm still kind of in the same boat that you are, is that the Suns are more of a well-rounded team, and I still think they're going to end up winning eventually. Probably in 6, but if it went to a 7-game series, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be nice. I mean, we don't really have much else to cover. We're approaching the deadest point of the year. So I would like them to continue going as far as they can.
Yeah, like I said, we've said this multiple times before, and it's just that the Suns, there's just something about them where it just seems like they're just a magical team this year. And in sports, if you watch sports enough, you know what we're talking about. There's just some kind of magic around a team that wins a championship. In baseball, it's really is important because really the magic, the team that feels like they're on a magical run usually ends up winning the World Series, and that's how it is in across the whole sports world. It just there's something about a team. There's just a feeling about them, and that's how I've kind of felt about the Suns. So I'm right there with you, thinking that this is probably not going to end in the most positive way for the Bucks. But either way, I mean, they're putting on a good show. Like I said, if they don't win this game, this is the decider right here. In my opinion, I don't think the
Oh,
Bucks
yeah.
are going to be able to come back from down 3-1. It happened to the Warriors, and that was because of LeBron James.
Bit of a
And
different case.
yeah, that Cavs team, which is insane. So, that's a lucky, incredible happening that does not occur, and that was also special circumstances with, Draymond Green going down and all that fun stuff. So
Yeah,
a
people
lot of
forget
different
about that.
circumstances
That was
there.
important. Him being
Yeah,
suspended, the
yeah,
injuries,
that was
everything else.
yeah another one of his great kicks to the nuts there. But
Shooting
yeah,
motion, by the
so
way.
yeah, so yeah. Anyways, not surprised that ended up turning the tide for the Cavs. As well as LeBron James just deciding that they weren't going to lose, and then Kyrie Irving finally contributing. That was a whole different series. I don't think the Bucks have the firepower to get there. So for me, I think the Suns are going to end up pulling this out. Um, and that's just, unfortunately for the Bucks, that's the way that I think it's going to go. I do think Giannis's injury definitely did not help things, and I'm sure there's probably some still, some tenderness there, like some hesitation potentially. Obviously, the dude's dropping, 40 plus points in the last two games. Don't really know if you could say much more about that performance other than that's great. So, whether it's holding him back still probably up for debate, but regardless, still a thought to think about is that that injury did happen at a inopportune time, considering they were going into a healthy, or a series against a healthy Suns team that were on a run. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and then obviously, you get these two guys right here. Obviously, Drew Holiday is key for the Bucks. He's a guy that when he's cooking and doing well, that creates a whole different, opportunity for the Bucks because it spreads the floor and it delivers another threat basically from the line as well as from the 3-point line and just spreading the shots out that allows them to, essentially make it so that way everybody's not keying in just on Chris Middleton or from behind the 3-point line or anything. When he gets it going, that allows this Bucks team to really kind of spread their offense around and get a little bit better, and it allows Giannis to have some better opportunities, allows Chris Middleton to have some better opportunities, and it just spreads the offense a lot better. And then obviously Devin Booker is the other key for the Suns, because Devin Booker, when he gets things going and he's scoring and he's unstoppable, it allows Chris Paul to get his shots from the mid range. It allows DeAndre Ayton to not, encounter as much down low, because when Devin Booker drives or Chris Paul runs that pick and roll with Devin Booker, you get the possibility of either one of those two guys pulling up from mid range or, even taking one down low. And so it kind of freezes the center, whoever's down low, and then freezes the defense. And then you get shots open for DeAndre Ayton close. So there's a lot of opportunities that get flowing through. So Devin Booker being the key for the Suns and Drew Holiday being the key for the Bucks, I think moving forward, especially in the game that we're watching live right now, as well as just for the rest of the series. If you hear Drew Holiday had a good night, you could probably guess that the Bucks have won that game without looking even to see if they did. Same with Devin Booker. If Devin Booker had a great night, probably the Suns ended up winning that game.
Yeah. Which Devin Booker, by the way, looks like the most innocent person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He has a massive baby face.
He was only drafted. He was drafted like 14th overall, I think, 15th overall. And I remember me and my friend Craig watching the draft and everything. I remember me and him being like, Devin Booker, like That's an interesting pick. Like, I don't remember him because I don't remember Devin Booker being like that crazy in college. Like, he was a shooter in college, but like there's shooters on literally every college team. So you're, especially being at that high of level. Because he went to Kentucky, I believe, right? It was either Kentucky or Duke or something like that. He went to one of those big schools. And I just remember him being like a part of the team, but not like the key part of the team. So when he started like taking off and had that 70-point game, it was just insane. And I was like, man, they really hit on this guy. And he was not a top 5 draft pick.
It was
So
Kentucky,
yeah, I was gonna say I remember him being in blue.
right?
So one of those two teams, but yeah, it's impressive. But like I said, those are the two keys to the series moving forward. Like I said, we're watching Game 4 live, but also to the series moving forward after this game. Is if you see Drew Holiday had a good night, that's a good night for the Bucks. So we'll see how it goes. Right now, not looking great for the Bucks, but of course it's the third quarter. Like I said, teams make surges. Everybody goes on runs. I'm sure it'll be close in the fourth. And really, it just comes down to if they can get enough shooting out of Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to spread the floor, and if Giannis is hitting his free throws at the end of the game, those combinations are what basically set the Bucks up to win the entire thing. Whereas if the Suns are getting it going and they're hitting shots, and Giannis is not doing very well from behind the free throw line or whatever, that's when you start having issues for them, and that's when it becomes the Suns series to lose. So we'll see how it goes. But that's just keys moving forward for people that are watching the series live as well as watching it moving, into game 5 and on.
It's the Bucks tying up the series. I don't know if you were watching that
Oh,
in the
did they? I
background.
didn't actually see the ending of that series.
Yeah. Boy, we would have some fun stuff to talk about. I can even pull up a couple of videos. The refs, I don't know. They swallowed their whistles. Apparently Devin Booker was trying to take his 6th foul, and he benched himself thinking he fouled out, but he did not. And apparently it was one of the worst showings. And I watched a little bit of it and I can kind of agree. Some disgraceful reffing throughout the entire match. The NBA,
Right.
the number one headline I see right here, NBA media melts down over the non-call on what should have been Devin Booker's 6th foul. And Booker misses the clutch layup and is frustrated at the referees. Like, just a complete meltdown.
Well, I'll have to watch that recap, and we'll talk about that the next podcast more in depth because I'll actually know more what's going on. But yeah, I wasn't. I actually clicked off of it to save a little bit of internet quality. But
Well, this is our reactionary segment, and this is going to be posted even immediately. This is disgraceful, the NBA. You should be switching over to the FIBA rules at this point. You're having a bunch of stars who are just leaning into each other, and I've seen a lot of things, and I brought this up with you too, or sent you videos to it at least. They need to get away from the whole shoot and then lean thing. It's boring to watch. You're going to turn into soccer in the way that they handle fouls and the people who are just begging for any sort of extra advantage and stuff, because it makes more sense mathematically and statistically to go for those. It just sucks as a viewer, and we're sick of seeing it. The soccer, I want to enjoy and watch soccer. I can't when I'm laughing at all the fouls that they're taking and pretending they've been poked in the eye and they tear their ACL only for them to run and sprint down the field 3 minutes later as they're fine. It's bleeding into every other sport, and it's terrible. And I'm going to give the one just before your part. The more Americans watch the Euros final on TV than the NBA finals. Come on. Go ahead.
yeah. Well, the one thing I will say is the one thing I give to soccer is I saw a clip the other day that was hilarious, and it was a guy who got hit, and it should have been a foul in like the box, and so he should have got a penalty kick for it, which is huge because penalty kicks aren't awarded very often, and you don't get points very often that way. And the guy didn't flop; he just like kind of like stood up and was like, look at the ref, like, come on, like that was a foul. And it was a foul. Like he straight up got hit, and he didn't flop or anything, and the ref didn't call it. And then literally like the same thing happened to a different guy, and the guy flopped, and the ref called it. So it's like one of those where I'm like, okay, I kind of get why flopping is a thing in soccer now, because like if that's gonna happen, where like you're not gonna get a call in an important situation because of a lack of flop, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How is that not a foul? That was not a foul.
That's the thing that's just bleeding and melting over the internet right now.
He tackled the dude. What? What am I looking at here?
Look
I'm
at
watching
that.
Drew Holiday get tackled. He literally attempted to foul him to send him to the line.
Yeah, I guess that's been happening the whole time. 38 points, by the way. Doesn't feel great though, but that's the number one headline I'm seeing out of it. There's also the sick block. Like I probably rolled this once, but still pretty cool.
God, what a series. Well, we're now 2-2. I was
Look at that.
saying the Bucks have to win this in order to I literally said earlier in the podcast the Bucks have to win this in order for them to be viable in the series, and they ended up doing it. So let's see if they can get a win away at the Suns place.
That should
Ray
be a
Taylor.
story all on its own.
Oh God. Oh
Oh,
boy.
that's good. That's so good. Yeah, here's
Wow, Devin Booker
Crowder.
had 42 points.
Crowder
Yeah.
with back-to-back flops. Sorry, back-to-back. Yeah, back-to-back flops in the clutch. Look at that. The eyes again. Like they're gonna hit in the eyes. Oh man, that's rough.
Chris Middleton had 40 points. That's why they won.
Sheesh.
Devin Booker had 42 and Chris Middleton had 40. By the way, Chris Paul, 10 points. 5 for 13. He was 0 for 2 from 3.
Wow.
0 for 2 from 3. You got to take more threes. That's unbelievably not aggressive. Second, you got to be hitting shots. I mean, come on. I know teams are different when they play at home, but geez, my God, hit something for the love of God. So apparently Devin Booker was basically trying to just be the entire team for the Suns. And guess what? That didn't work out.